Hey guys, it's Chris Turton here from christurtonecommerce.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about brands and issues that manufacturers have when they have a lot of brands that they're trying to sell them on Amazon and trying to make sure that they look completely spot on in terms of how the design is, make sure the brands are correct, and all those kind of bits and pieces. And there's a lot of problems at the moment because the key issues are that Amazon has had a very long, complicated history with product identifiers, and what that's led to is retailers effectively using their own barcodes and creating their own products, and that has made a lot of problems for brands. So before 2018 and going quite far back when Amazon was just a very small e-commerce site, people were able to manipulate the product range by saying they had their own products that were brand-led. They could create bundles of those products, or even worse, they could see a product that the manufacturer had created or another retailer created and do some bits and pieces to make sure they had their own product and it was separated on the catalogue. And Amazon hates this, unlike eBay. Amazon likes a very structured catalogue of product, and it wants everything very clearly laid out for the customer so the customer can make better buying decisions. And the problem that created was a hornet's nest of issues in regards to products being created as a bundle, or just multiple issues that Amazon just hated. And so what they did last year was that they made a partnership with GS1, who are the barcoding kind of gurus of the world. I mean, there's over 50,000 businesses that will use GS1 to handle their barcoding system, and most major retailers will use it. So before that time, Amazon would allow any barcode that was formatted to the correct, had the right numbers, had the right sort of procedures, and they'd allow it. So what happens now with new brands is brands have to be verified. This isn't the brand registry tools, which we'll get onto in a minute, but this is brand verification. So therefore, having your brand would be associated with Amazon, but Amazon will require you to send in photographs with the barcode and your product information to allow you to sell that brand, and that has made things a bit more structured. But before that time, anybody could say they were selling they were selling Nike shoes, or you could be selling a clothing range, but when you look back at the barcode that you purchased off eBay, you were buying Belgian waffle from a Belgian waffle company, and Amazon just accepted it. So things like that have now slowly changed and made the structure for brands more competitive and more structured. The problem is these archaically old products, they are causing a nightmare for certain brands, especially manufacturers that have multiple brands. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into a little bit more about, how to deal with that problem and what we do as a company to kind of resolve those issues. So what's happened is that brands have been left in a real sort of bind, really. So you might, if you're a manufacturer and you've got a brand, you might see that your products are incorrect in terms of the imagery might be outdated. The retailer who set the product up might be using a previous version of that product. It could be outdated. The ingredients could be outdated, which could be dangerous. There could be incorrect imagery in other areas that would be really important to you as a brand. The content could be incorrect, which again could be quite dangerous. You could have something that may be incorrect and causing actual customer issues, which might even get the item pulled if the customers get a lot of negative customer experiences. It also means that because of those products being set up, there is the inability to make those changes, even if you have access to the brand registry tools and you have the trademark for those brands, which we'll get on again to a little bit later. And it also means that these fake products, effectively, which they are, if your retailers or competitors have set them up, or people who've bought them as a third party, those fake products can't be cleared under Amazon's transparency program, which could mean even more complicated matters. So because of this system that Amazon have brought in to improve brands, it's actually made things a little bit more complicated. So it's one of those situations where you have to create and develop a plan. So I think what some people are going to say is, well, I've got brand registry, won't that deal with the problem? And the answer is not always. There are multiple reasons as to why, and I'll go into just a few of these here, but I'm sure that you've probably experienced these yourself if you are a manufacturer and you've had this issue on Amazon, or your team has. So if the retailer spelt the brand name wrong, which I've seen happen several times, even by a really simple mistake, or they've even typed the word like LTD onto the end of the brand, Amazon will define that as a completely separate brand. So that becomes more difficult if you've got brand registry tools for that specific product. And that can become a bit of a headache in trying to get them to accept, Amazon to accept that ASIN, that Amazon product, as one of your own products. So even if you have got access to that product, you may be able to merge barcodes, which is something that people are still doing, and it has relative effect. Our team have had some kind of mixed feedback with doing that process. But it might not, and the worst thing is it may delete and tombstone that product and get rid of that product, and then your new product will come in with the new barcode, but it may wipe all the product reviews, it may wipe that sales history, which is, if you've got a good selling product, you really don't want that, and neither will your retailers. So it's a very tricky one. It's definitely eggshells to step on there with that kind of process. And yeah, just to be very clear, that Amazon still may be reluctant to make those changes. Even if you do have brand registry and you do have a seller account. One of the key things that people miss is when they go to Amazon and say, we want to make this product change happen because we have brand registry, we have the seller account, and Amazon won't let you because you're not selling the product. And as a manufacturer, you might not want to sell direct to the public. But that's something that Amazon will basically say, look, if you want to take control over this product listing page, even as the admin, you will need that product and you will need that product in stock. I'm hoping that will change shortly, but at the moment, that's the way it stands. And also, just to let you know, if Amazon are selling this product directly as a retail buyer, so if one of your retailers is selling to Amazon directly, which happens very frequently, even if it's not yourselves, Amazon's vendor program, so if that listing is being controlled by someone on Amazon vendor, will always take precedent if that product is being sold on both vendor account and a seller account. So bear that in mind as well. So for instance, if your retailer, you're selling to Joe Blogs Limited, and they are selling directly to Amazon as a vendor, and you have brand registry, you have that product on Seller Central, but Joe Blogs Limited are selling to Amazon as a vendor, they have access to Vendor Central, and they type in something into the bullet points, it is likely that even though Amazon says they take multiple considerations into their mix, when really they should be allowing the brand, I believe, to be making those decisions, it may be that Amazon vendor will go, this trumps your data because it's who the person is selling to us. So we can help you with those areas, and it's something we have done before, but it can be a complicated one. So the next thing I'm going to do is it's going to give you just a kind of a bullet point list of certain things very briefly that you can do to control your brand if you've got multiple brands as a manufacturer. And these points may change because Amazon's system is still changing on this brand's front. So keep in touch with us if you want some assistance here. But the first thing I would recommend doing is making a brand action plan, because there is a lot of complexity in brand registry's tool system. So for instance, if you license your brand from another country, you will need to have almost a secondary access. You'll need to become an administrator on that brand. So you want to make a matrix of what your brand ownership is, what access you have, and what that entails, and that will also form part of point 4 I've made about identifying problem ASINs and being able to kind of make all that system correct. Make sure that all your registered brands are connected to your brand registry account. Get the trademarks for them. Make sure they're fully registered with the correct name formats. If at the worst possible point a lot of your products are being sold under a brand that is not the same, say for instance if they do have LTD or the wording of the in, an Amazon brand support do not assist you in terms of saying this brand is the same brand. Re-register it, I would, because if you have thousands of products, they've got a lot of retailers, it'll cost you a few £100s to get your trademark, but it will give you that protection, and that protection is so important, especially because Amazon is now a powerhouse of e-commerce. You want to make sure your brand is absolutely formatting to the best ability it can be. So for a few £100s, it may be a better option than to just leave it. Get your entire product range in stock on your seller account. So, any of your retailers that are selling any of your products, even if they are incorrect ones, like if they're making bundled products or products that are not legitimate, but they have your name on them, so they could, anything like that, make sure that you have those attributed into your Seller Central account. If you do need to go through that process of getting product approvals, if they're in categories that are not easy to get hold of, maybe the toys and games category or something, health and nutrition, all that kind of stuff, do it. Make sure you've just got 100% access to those products, and if you can stock them, great. I know it's not always easy being a manufacturer and having that option for customers to buy. You could do some certain things like that by putting a product in stock, making sure the retail price is not comparative with the buy box to make sure that you're not getting getting the buy box, but it could still happen and you could still get a sale. But it's the only way you will be able to be fully guaranteed that any content changes, you want to make sure your listings work effectively. This is kind of a left field one, but it's always worth contacting retailers selling your items. If you have a commercial agreement with them, then you obviously can't. There's certain rules about telling them about competitive laws and things about what they can and can't sell, but it should be in their interest as well as yours to make sure that the content is correct and it's clear. So that's a really, really important one. Make use of Amazon's brand registry tools, because they can be very helpful and they can give you a clear understanding. Just be really, really, really clear and precise with what you're asking them to do. Be very, very, very accurate in terms of making sure that everything's black and white and bullet pointed, because any sort of waffle and Amazon support system, as you probably know, will just delay you and cause you some problems. So try and be really clear. And if there are any violations with your products, any counterfeit products that you spot, you will need to purchase them, but make sure that you report them, because if you report product violations and you get a 90% success rate, you will get access to Amazon's Project Zero system, which will allow you to get access to the tools that will stop counterfeiting. It will also mean that your brand, no one else will be able to sell your brand without approvals. So it's a very, very, very good system to use. So these are kind of some key points and some really bullet pointed, simple ideas for your brand and your branding system. Let us know if there's anything that we can help you with. We specialise in selling brands on Amazon. And we've done it for some big names. If you look at our website on christurtonecommerce.com, you'll see some of our testimonials and case studies and some of the kind of household names we work with, and many different businesses, from kind of powerful startups to big multi corporates. So hopefully that was a bit more helpful for you, and let me know if there's any kind of comments below, or drop me an email, and I'll be happy to help. So cheers, bye now.